The cost of being the boss. How being a woman of power impacts you and your family. This talk has relatable elements for most women, but is told from my perspective through my experiences. Let's settle this. Success costs something. Your circumstances influence how much and how you will pay. The cost of life. For the most part, my children were raised in a two-parent household. I say for the most part because there were periods of my and Kenneth's courtship and marriage when we weren't together. But for the most part, we were. So my boys had two parents, a mother and a father. Kenneth and I made well enough decisions that we were able to house our family in middle-class neighborhoods. The boys were able to attend some of the best schools in the area. But due to many factors, both of us had to work in order to provide what Maslow, who's an American psychologist, best known for creating Maslow's hierarchy of needs, refers to as the first level of hierarchical needs, physiological needs. Both of us being outside of the household for more than a third of the day cost us something. The need for us to work opposite shifts to ensure coverage at home cost us something. The highest, most unrecoverable thing it cost us was time. Time with each other and time with our children. Nothing replaces time. Not money, not support from other people, not gifts or electronics. Nothing replaces time. As a mother, I feel my time away significantly impacted my children. As a father, Kenneth is responsible for leading our family, providing for us and establishing our identity as a unit. But as a mom, I am charged to nurture, comfort, and teach. It's extremely difficult to nurture when you're not around. You miss things. You unintentionally create wounds. This is actually an experience I share with my children. When I was a child, I too grew up in pretty okay neighborhoods. I too attended some of the best primary schools. I too had a mom and grandparents who worked outside of the home to take care of me. By the age of 9, I was a latchkey kid, finding my way back and forth to school on my own, to a private school that cost a pretty penny, which required the adults around me to work hard and long to chip in so that I could attend. That meant they couldn't be home to nurture and comfort me. That meant that, like my children, people miss things and unintentionally created wounds. Some wounds that would take me almost 40 years to identify. Wounds that caused me to have unhealthy responses in relationships, both personally and professionally. Two of these hidden wounds I like to call rejection and abandonment. When the thought of me being impacted by rejection and abandonment through my family of origin initially entered my mind and spirit, I thought, that's crazy. How was I ever rejected? For goodness sake, before I had children, I was the only child, the only grandchild, and the only niece for almost 2 decades. People loved me, but my mind and spirit quickly began to reveal to me how being there for me was being different than being there with me. I began to think about how, although people weren't available because they were working and providing for me, they still weren't there. I began to explore how not having my dad in my life and then my mom leaving to join the army so that she could provide a better life for me really hurt me. How people not being there on a daily basis, but being there in moments of achievement planted seeds of performance-driven mindset for me. I remember forever I would excitedly share with people how my mom went off to join the army because she saw a better way to provide for me. I never really acknowledged the fact that I was a 9-year-old little girl who had no dad around and whose mom had left her too. Wow. Can you imagine the rejection that must have seeded inside of my little heart? How the thought patterns of everybody's going to leave you and you have to take care of yourself independently began to form in my mind and my heart? I'm sure you can, smarty pants. But to the little girl and then ultimately woman with the lived experience, up until that point of the revolutionary and revelatory breakthrough, I was just living life with those behaviors. I was just making a way. In our social economic system, bossing up to take care of your family is required, but it will cost. And again, your circumstances will dictate how much it will cost and how you will pay the cost. Pause. Okay, now I share this with you to open up the dialogue around this cost so that those who may feel guilt can be healed and those who may need insight on balance or even a glimpse of hope can find it. Each paragraph that was written or spoken here, and probably about two more, will be chapters of my newly conceived unwritten book. I'd like to write it by my 50th birthday, which means I have a little bit over a year to get it done. Through formal social emotional intelligence training, books, and coaches, I have learned how to identify behaviors associated with these costs. And I would like to share some of them with you so that you can see the unseen and create better personal and professional growth for yourself. This is how we'll do that. While you're waiting on this fabulous book, go back, reread the elements of the story, of my journey, and then join me in the virtual conversation around the cost of being the boss. There's a link around here somewhere for you to register to join the conversation. I look forward to it. Talk to you soon.